You've just entered the No Delusion Zone. I'm DeBatto. Well, folks, it's taken me a couple of days to be able to sit down and record this podcast. A couple of days after the inauguration of Donald Trump at noon on Monday, January 20th, 2025. I was literally, emotionally, and physically unable to sit down yesterday after digesting what had happened shortly after Trump was inaugurated on the 20th, on Monday. The reason for my inability to sit down and calmly record another podcast was because of the executive actions that Donald Trump promised to make, to sign, which he then did sign and issue. Folks, when Trump and MAGA say they are going to do something in the future, no matter how extreme, no matter how outrageous it sounds, believe them. I am sick and tired, sick to death of MAGA and their excusers in the media and anywhere else saying, oh, don't listen to Donald Trump. He's such a kidder. He doesn't mean everything he says. He's just blowing off steam. You can't take him seriously. He only does not even half of what he says. Well, that's utter horseshit. He means everything he says. The reason he wasn't able to do it before, in his first administration, is because he had some people around him who knew better, who actually were American patriots, who actually weren't scumbags like Trump, and held him to account, didn't allow him, or at least deterred him from enacting some of his most egregious, loathsome policies that he would have preferred to enact and to carry out if possible. However, now in 2025, he has assembled a clown circus of traitors, of absolute traitors. What can I say? Lunatics, nutcases, pure evil, people who want to burn down every institution in America, regardless of what it is. Just burn it down. Chaos, anarchy. They're full of hate and rage. And those are his closest advisors. So yes, when Donald Trump promised to do certain things, he really meant it. And starting at 12:01 on Monday, January 20th, he started to implement those words that MAGA and the media have told us all to ignore. And I'm going to go through some of them today. I mean, he issued dozens, a lot of executive orders. What are executive orders in America? They're presidential decrees, if you will, that enable any president to go around the Congress. He doesn't have to get congressional approval. He doesn't have to ask permission of anyone to do anything when issuing an executive order. That means he can do it if he wants to, and he can raise the money, get the money from the federal government without asking permission to raise funds. He can reallocate funds. He can take from one agency to another, whatever he wants to do. It's his world. And so he issued many, many executive orders on Monday, some of which are going to permanently injure the United States for, well, maybe forever, but certainly for a long time. And they're going to alienate us from the rest of the world. They're going to make us a pariah, something that we, at least the prior administration, tried to do to Russia for its genocidal invasion of Ukraine. Now, the Trump administration has turned the tables, and it's allowing America to become a pariah in the eyes of the Western world. So briefly, I'm going to go through some of this. Some of his executive orders. One of them is called Putting America First in International Environmental Agreements. One of his pet peeves, his love, which is to discredit climate change and to discredit anyone who wants to try to save us, the Americans, or the rest of the world from utter pollution, from destroying, from using up what's left of our natural resources and poisoning us, poisoning our air, our water, our soil, what we eat, what we breathe, He doesn't care because he wants his corporate buddies in the natural fueling system, in the oil and gas industries, to go on fracking, to go on drilling. Drill, baby, drill, without giving a damn about what that drilling and spewing into the air of the smoke and the fracking does to the environment. Not at all. So, very quickly, to what is this called again? Putting America first in the environment and thumbing our nose to the rest of the world and to the American people. The United States ambassador to the UN shall immediately submit formal written notification of the United States withdrawal from the Paris Agreement under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Because we here in the United States don't believe in climate change. No. All of the record-setting temperatures, both high and low, the ice melting in the Arctic, the wildfires all over the world, including right now in the Los Angeles area of California, are, well, they don't exist. Not in our world, not in the MAGA world. And if they do, well, it really has nothing to do with anything. It's just the way it is. It's probably God's will anyway. So we're going to ignore that. So basically, this is saying that we're withdrawing from the Paris Accords, which is going to mean we're going to do whatever the hell we want in terms of polluting our own country and the rest of the world. And the hell with you, hell with us, and the hell with the rest of the world, because we want to be able to pollute as much as we can, as long as it puts more money into the pockets of the billionaire oligarchs who are now running the United States. That's this one. What's the next one I have here? This is a favorite of mine. This one is called Holding Former Government Officials Accountable for Election Interference and Improper Disclosure of Sensitive Governmental Information. That sounds like something that Donald Trump did, didn't he? Wasn't he convicted? No, he wasn't convicted. Wasn't he indicted for stealing government documents that he wasn't allowed to have after he left office, storing them in just shoeboxes or anywhere he wanted to in Mar-a-Lago, and then showing these government secrets, including our nuclear secrets, to his buddies, to journalists, to golfing buddies, anybody who wanted to, who just happened to be walking through his bathroom or his bedroom or his living room or his kitchen or anywhere else in Mar-a-Lago. He would just show these nuclear secrets, these top secret classified documents to anybody that he wanted to impress them, of course. So this sounds like him, is it? No, it's not. I'm sorry. My apologies. This executive order, just issued by Donald Trump on Monday, has to do with seeking vengeance, retribution on about 51 retired senior government intelligence and military officials for the audacity that they showed, the irreverence that they showed to Donald Trump by insinuating that he did something wrong. I'll just read a brief amount from this executive order. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered, Section 1, Purpose. In the closing weeks of the 2020 presidential campaign, at least 51 former intelligence officials coordinated with the Biden campaign to issue a letter discrediting the report that President Joseph R. Biden's son had abandoned his laptop at a computer repair business. Signatories of the letter falsely suggested that the news story was part of a Russian disinformation campaign. Actually, asshole, this wasn't part of a Chinese or a Russian disinformation campaign. It was part of a Russian information campaign where they seed certain facts and real information somewhere, so you believe it. And then interspersed among the real information are lies, disinformation, breadcrumbs that they want you to follow. That's what this was. And that's exactly what the letter said. And that's what the officials who have been interviewed about this since Monday have told you. But no, No, you don't care because you don't understand how intelligence gathering works. You don't certainly understand counterintelligence. In fact, you don't understand much of anything. And you're just angry that somebody, again, well, how did you say it when you were in office? Russia, Russia, Russia. Because they accused you of collaborating with Russia, or at least your campaign was collaborating with Russia. And that was, in fact, proved during the report on the party, the Republican Party's collaboration with Russia during the campaign. The Kremlin has admitted as much. You can't. Anyway, I'm not going to go on about this one because we have to move along here. But this is part of the vengeance that Trump promised against his political enemies, the heads of intelligence agencies, for trying to uncover Russian interference with American elections. And you're going to try to indict them, to investigate them, punish them for doing their job? Damn you. The next one. Again, the environment, climate change. President Trump moved quickly on Monday to withdraw the United States from the World Health Organization, a move that public health experts say will undermine the nation's standing as a global health leader and make it harder to fight the next pandemic. We had a pandemic? We did, a few years ago. In fact, that was the pandemic that Trump denied and asked us to actually ingest bleach. If we thought we had COVID, slug down some bleach. Or shove a really bright light down our throats. And that would kill any COVID virus or bacteria or whatever the heck he thought it was. Bleach and bright lights would do it. In an executive order issued about 8 hours after he took office, Mr. Trump cited a string of reasons for the withdrawal, including the WHO's mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Little more projection there, Mr. President. And the failure to adopt urgently needed reforms. Like what? Praising you and telling you that your suggestion of ingesting bleach was a good thing? He said the agency's demands unfairly onerous payments from the United States and complained that China pays less. Idiot. Hey, here's another one, of course. What do we? Again, getting back to the environment. The temporary withdrawal of all areas on the outer continental shelf from offshore wind leasing and review of the federal government's leasing and permitting practices for wind projects. Trump has this thing about wind power, solar power. He doesn't get it. He really has a thing about it. And of course, he wants to destroy them all, dismantle them all, and replace them with oil and gas. Again, his buddies in the oil and gas industry, in the pollution industry. Very briefly, I'll read from this. Consistent with the principles responsible of public stewardship that are entrusted to this office, blah, 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 blah. What are they going to do here? I hereby withdraw from disposition for wind energy leasing all areas of the offshore continental shelf. This withdrawal shall go into effect beginning on January 21st, 2025, and shall remain in effect until this presidential memorandum is revoked. To the extent that an area is already withdrawn from disposition for wind energy leasing, the area's withdrawal is extended for a time period beginning on January 21st, 2025, until this presidential memorandum is revoked. So no more wind power. He gets to solar power and some other memorandums and executive orders. But right now, this is about crushing the wind farms. And again, replacing it with pollution, with the fracking, with the oil, with the gas, anything that can make his buddies, his billionaire oligarchs, money and pollute the air, soil, and water more. He's all for it. Another one about the environment. It's called Unleashing American Energy. This is very long. I'm not going to go through all of it, of course. By the authority vested in me from e pluribus unum, blah, blah, blah. America is blessed with an abundance of energy and natural resources that have historically powered our nation's economic prosperity. In recent years, burdensome and ideologically motivated regulations have impeded the development of these resources, limited the generation of reliable and affordable electricity, reduced job creation, and inflicted high energy costs upon our citizens. It is thus in the natural interest to unleash America's affordable and reliable energy and natural resources. This will restore American prosperity. I didn't realize we lost it. We have the economy that is the envy of the world, Mr. President. It will also rebuild our nation's economic and military security, which will deliver peace through strength. What do you mean rebuild? I didn't realize that our economic and military security was in ruins. But that's right. You won the election partially with the MAGA idiots because you told them that this country is in utter chaos. Our economy is in shambles. Crime is just devastating every town, city, and suburb in the country. And our military is so woke they can't get out of bed in the morning, right? Not true. But that's part of what this is about. The policy of the United States is to encourage energy exploration on federal lands and waters, to establish our position as the leading producer and processor of non-fuel minerals, to create the shit out of the earth, to protect the United States' economic and national security and military preparedness by ensuring that no permanent source of energy, such as wind and solar, can ever be developed by the United States, and instead that we continue back in time to depending on fossil fuels. To ensure that this happens, I'm going to eliminate the electric vehicle mandate and promote true consumer choice, which is whatever I tell them to do. Can't read anymore. Basically, he is eliminating any alternative source of energy, whether it's wind power, solar power, and electric vehicles, and any new innovation, which would take any money from his billionaire oligarch friends in the fossil fuel industry. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. It's injurious to the earth, to the citizens of the United States that he alleges to love, but he hates. He loathes them. He doesn't understand them. He doesn't care. He never did, but they were stupid enough to believe him and vote for him. I'm getting to the last part of it, so it's almost over, folks. I saved the worst till last, and actually the main reason I couldn't make this video until today, that had to do with the 1,500, approximately 1,500 pardons that Trump gave to the January 6th traitors. The people that stormed and occupied the Capitol, fought tooth and nail against police officers from both the Capitol Police and the Washington Metro Police Department, of which 5 eventually died, some on the scene, some shortly afterwards, and came within a hair's breadth of overturning a lawful election, keeping Trump in power in a coup, and overturning our government, throwing us into a constitutional crisis. Just by luck, it didn't happen. And those scumbags who took part in this, almost 1,000 of which were convicted and already serving prison sentences, were pardoned by Trump on Monday. On Monday evening, several hours after President Trump was inaugurated, he fulfilled a promise he had repeatedly made to pardon nearly all the rioters, traitors, who had attacked and desecrated the Capitol in 2021 to prevent Joe Biden's victory from being certified. About 1,500 rioters received full pardons from Mr. Trump, while 14 others received commuted sentences. I think we all remember the old shaman, the QAnon shaman with the big fur hat and the horns and all that. Well, his name is Jacob Chansley. He's a real wingnut, nutcase. Well, he was one of those whose sentence was commuted. He was pardoned. And after being pardoned, he stated that he's going to go home and buy some guns after being pardoned by President Trump. Quote, I just got the news from my lawyer. I got a pardon, baby. Thank you, President Trump. Now I am going to buy some motherfucking guns. I love this country. God bless America. J6ers are getting released and justice has come. Everything done in the dark will come to light, he added. That's why I couldn't make this video until today. The fact that Donald Trump, scumbag and traitor in chief, just pardoned 1,500 other scumbags and traitors is unconscionable. I will never forgive him or them. But what's done is done. We will never forget. And lastly, saving maybe the worst for last, I'm not sure, Elon Musk. This is a title from one of the many media stories. Elon Musk ignites online speculation over the meaning of a hand gesture. Here's the hand gesture. That's called a Hitler salute, or in German, ein Hitlergruß. It's illegal in Germany. If he had done that in Germany, his ass would be in jail right now. But he did it here, not once, not twice. But twice. He did it twice after the inauguration, within hours after the inauguration, standing behind the presidential podium. He gave a Hitler salute twice. And people applauded. Republicans, MAGA, scumbags, traitors, brain dead, applauded a Hitler salute in the U.S. Capitol by an abomination standing behind the presidential podium in the U.S. Capitol. I keep saying that it can't get worse than that, but it did, and it probably will again. Of course, MAGA and all the Republican bootlickers have made excuses, calling it everything from a Roman salute to a mistaken impression of what he did. Well, folks, for the brain dead out there, where do you think the Nazis and Mussolini, the fascists in Italy, got the idea for the Hitler salute, the Nazi salute? From their interpretation of the Roman salute. They just incorporated it into their own. And Musk knows full well what a Hitler salute is, what a Nazi salute is. And so does MAGA. So do the Republicans. They're full of shit. They're traitors. We have descended to the point where anyone can make a Hitler salute in the U.S. Capitol after an inauguration of our president, and he's applauded. He's not wrestled to the ground and arrested. We've sunk to new lows. We've sunk to new lows. I can't say any more today. Just talking about all this gets me worked up again. Many of you won't understand what I'm saying. If you do, you're just going to blame me for being an emotional idiot and not getting it, or being a lib, or being a socialist, or a communist, or an asshole, or I don't know what. And if you do, well, then you are the problem. You're not part of it. You are. You're MAGA, or you're a foreigner who just doesn't get it either. I do have a lot of folks overseas that watch this, and I love it. But if you don't understand why I'm upset with the issues that I just laid out here in this video, then you surely don't get it. We're going through some dark times here in the United States. We really, really are. I don't know when we're going to come out on the other end, or if we will. And if we do, where we're going to be, if our democracy's ever going to come back again, because we're on the way down. And it hasn't even really started yet. This is 2 days, 48 hours after the inauguration, and already this is where we're at. I haven't even talked about the mass deportations. I haven't even talked about the fact that the border is now a state of national emergency, and Trump is calling out the active duty military to put them on the streets, to put them at the border, but also to put them on the streets, our army on the streets, to start arresting pretty much anyone they choose. The next step will be to have the active duty military arrest criminals and shoot anyone dead that they think is a criminal or might commit a crime. That's next. I haven't even gotten to that, and I'm not today. It's too much. Again, that's all for today. As I said, we're in some dark times here. I need your help. This channel needs your help. The few of us that are left here, out here and shouting into the wilderness on YouTube and some other social media, who are not accepting the Trump administration, who are not accepting this as the new normal, who are not accepting a dictator, an authoritarian, an oligarchy in America as normal. This is not normal. This is abnormal. It's outrageous. It's treasonous. We don't accept it. We won't. We never will. And I'm one of the few voices out there saying this. There's a few. There are a few, and they're very, very, very good. They need your help. I need your help. So please, hit the subscribe button. I can really, really use it. Also, go to buymeacoffee.com and buy me a coffee. And tell others about this, please. Let's get this subscriber base way, way up. I'm not going anywhere, but I need your help. Have your friends, your coworkers, your family, your enemies, anybody you can rope into watching No Delusion Zone. Do it, and then subscribe. That's all for today. I'll be back as soon as I can to post another video. I've got some really, really good interviews coming up, so you don't just have to listen to me. You can listen to some of the most important figures in the news around the world very, very soon. So again, thank you all, and you take care. You stay safe and stay sane.